We warmly welcome you to today's webinar, Invest in Saudi Arabia and UAE. This webinar is designed to offer practical insights into business expansion and investment opportunities in Saudi Arabia and UAE. This session will cover premium residency programs in Saudi Arabia, foreign ownership and real estate investment, the regional headquarters RHQ program, Vision 2030, cross-border fund transfer, golden visa, Freezone opportunities, and real estate prospects in the UAE. Also, for your information, today's session is being recorded. Also, I would like to introduce our panel of experts. CA Simant Srivastav, Managing Partner Attentio Corporate Services LLP, a strategic finance expert and registered valuer. Mr. Simant leads virtual CFO and advisory services at Attentio. He has played a key role in supporting business globally and through MOL. He has also innovated personal finance tools tailored for professional and entrepreneurs. CMA Azan Abdullah, Managing Partner and Co-founder at Tass Hamjit. With over 13 years of experience across India and GCC, Mr. Azan is a leader in AI-driven financial solutions. He has assisted over 1,500 businesses to expand in Gulf region and specialized in aligning tech innovation with finance, investment, and compliance strategies. CA Ajmal MK, Assistant Manager at Tass Hamjit, a chartered accountant with strong expertise in finance, taxation, business analysis, and data analytics. Ajmal is known for bridging technology and finance to support strategic decision-making in complex financial environments. CMA Muhammad Ashraf, branch head at Tass Hamjit, Saudi. Mr. Ashraf brings 15 plus years of experience in corporate office, business setup, and public relations. He had led over 350 company incorporations, merger and acquisition, and widely recognized for his personalized approach to corporate advisory. We are also pleased to have two special guests with us today. Mr. Raj Shekhar, Director, Projects and Operations, Vedanta, Saudi Arabia. Mr. Amitava Mitra, CEO, Swaraj Secutech. So let's begin. I invite CA Simant Srivastav to deliver the welcome address. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you, Sajitra. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us in this exclusive webinar organized jointly by Tass Hamjit and Attentio Corporate Services. The topic is investing in Saudi Arabia and UAE, where we explore a whole host of new frontiers for opportunities in the Middle East. So whether you are a new existing or new business owner looking to expand globally, or an investor scouting for high growth markets, or simply someone who's curious about international diversification, you are in the right place. We have curated this session specifically for you folks, our vibrant entrepreneurs and business community from Western India, because we believe the region is poised to be at the forefront of investments. Welcome to you all. Sit back, take notes, and feel free to ask questions. And I'll now request Sajitra to take the proceedings forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now we can start our sessions. Our first topic is investment in Saudi Arabia and related opportunities. To deliver the session, I would like to invite CMA Azan Abdullah.
Thank you, Sajitra, and thank you, Seeman sir, for the welcome. And as Seeman sir said, thank you for joining us in this webinar. So, as given to me, I'm talking about the expansion towards Saudi Arabia from India. So I'll be having a small presentation as well, which will be going along with my talk. So whenever there is any requirements or any doubts, you can keep note of it. We'll be having a Q&A session to clear off doubts after every sessions. So before we start, when we talk about Saudi Arabia, obviously there has been a lot of doubts, confusions, and lack of clarities on what Saudi Arabia is up to and what are the new affairs which is getting a global attention businesses and leading business houses. They are looking keen into Saudi Arabia. So when we talk about Saudi, Saudi has been a very closed economy until 3 to 4 years back. They have been heavily reliant on oil and gas, as everybody knows. So last 3 to 4 years back, Saudi Arabia decided to open up its economy so that it becomes a very open economy, which is welcoming everyone from everywhere in the globe to start their businesses, to explore their opportunities and set up their businesses and expand their horizons. So in that scenario, Saudi started easing off a lot of rules and regulations so that it can welcome more investors from foreign, and the FDI, the foreign direct investment, increases. And again, the dependency on oil and gas is reduced as an economy itself. So there are some myths, I feel like, that has to be busted along with when we are talking about Saudi. So right now, whatever we are hearing in the news are exactly being practiced and exactly being implemented in Saudi Arabia. So the economy is completely open. Anybody from anywhere in the world can start legally any business in Saudi. And there are no restrictions with regard to geographies and all. If you set up a company in Saudi, the whole Saudi is open to you to do business. And when comparing to other sister states of GCC, you can see that the Saudi Arabia is the largest and have the most population among the states. So likewise, the land is of a lot of opportunities, which is to explore from our side. And us being Indians, when we take any GCC countries, obviously the population of Indians are the best, or at the top among the expats. Even in Saudi, among the expat population, which is around 40% this year, which is a huge increase from being 25 to 30 until 2 to 3 years back. So among this 40%, obviously the number of Indians are the top, and which is again a huge opportunity. And it's an example of how we Indians explore new opportunities as well. So going ahead, I'll be covering these topics very primarily, and we'll be discussing with the limited time the basics of setting up in Saudi and some of the major updates or major things which you see in the news. So I'll start off with Ministry of Investment Saudi Arabia, that is MISA. Ministry of Investment Saudi Arabia is the primary authority which controls, regulates our the business or the business ownership by expats or foreigners in Saudi. So they are the prime authority which regulates, which allows, and which or takes actions in favor of or against any businesses which are owned by foreigners. So they are the window to Saudi Arabia for us being expats. So when we talk about MISA registration, you can see that there are it was termed as licenses before. So that's why we usually know there is a foreign licensing in Saudi Arabia. Now they have changed the terminology into MISA registration. So you have the following major activity classes when you start an operation in Saudi, which is manufacturing, we have services, you have real estate, you have trading, you have agriculture, and you have professional investments, and there is a special class called entrepreneurship. So I'll be briefly touching the special categories. The rest is everything what it says. Manufacturing is for all the manufacturing activities, services is for service activities, etc. So these are the type of registrations or activities. And the latest development in the investment law is that the foreigners or expats who are expanding to Saudi requires to take only one registration to do any activities, which is actually a major shift when you even compare with other states in the GCC like UAE, Qatar, or Bahrain, or anywhere. They don't allow you to practice different activities of different classes under one single registration. So Saudi have been so liberal to allow us to have only one single license, so that our cost on licensing is reduced, then practice different activities under the same license. So that's a major update which recently came up. So going ahead, when you have a MISA registration, so when you talk about MISA or Ministry of Investment registration, there was a program, or there was a kind of doing business in Saudi, which has been there for 70 years, which is usually we call it as sponsorship business, in which everyone might have known about that. There's a requirement for a Saudi owner for everyone to do a business. We were not allowed to do business in our own name, or it was not easy at that time. There was a foreign investment law years back, but still it was not as easy as now. So right now they have abolished this 70-year-long sponsorship system and made into an open economy where you can start your own business 100% under your name. You don't need a Saudi partner or you don't need a sponsor. At the same time, if you want a Saudi to be involved, a Saudi local to be involved, you can have as a partnership, not as a sponsorship. So there are multiple options. Either you can go with 100% ownership, or you can have a Saudi partner as a partnership, or your company and Saudi company can be having a joint venture business. Any format is now possible, but not as a sponsorship. The real owners have to take the responsibility of being the owners, and you are given all the rights and freedoms as that. So when you have a Ministry of Investment registration, you can see that you have legal ownership. The ease of fund withdrawal, transfer, investment have become more transparent. Then you have legal right to take off profits. You have legal right to take managerial remuneration. You have legal right to take out your money from Saudi and to transfer it outside. And again, your asset and business safety is ensured by government by making the investment regulations a law. So there is a law called investment law, which ensures the asset and business safety of investors from foreign or global side. And again, you can legally sell your shares when you are going on an exit, or when you're exiting the Saudi market, or when you're planning to scale up your business and sell it off. You can legally sell your shares, make the money, and take the money legally out of Saudi. So these kind of easiness or ease of doing business, they have improved a lot, which of course you can check with the World Bank index and all. You can see that Saudi Arabia as a economy, which was especially on the ease of doing index, which was way below, have drastically upgraded their position to near to for first 1 to 30% right now in 2024 and 25. So that's a drastic change from their side. Then going ahead, as Indian businessmen, what do we need to start a business in Saudi? That's a practical question which everyone will be having. So keeping that in mind, we have 3 or 4 kind of steps. So first step is that for anyone to start a business in Saudi, there should be a foreign company under their ownership, either in India or anywhere outside Saudi Arabia. So that is the first condition. Or otherwise, you should have a premium Iqama, which I'll give a brief at the end of this presentation. So when we talk about having a foreign company, as you can see on the screen, a company which is at least a year old, with at least a good financial results, and having all the documents listed and all the documents ready, and then getting them attested from the Saudi embassy is the first step. So you have a foreign company, you get the documents ready, you have the financial results, and get all these attested by the Saudi embassy in your country or in India. That's the first step. Then when you have all these things done, you apply, or we apply to the Ministry of Investments for a registration. That's the first step inside Saudi. So you bring all the documents, we fill the forms with the Ministry of Investments online, then we select the activities, we decide the name, and name specifically, like in India, we have to apply to reserve the name, and that have to be approved by the government authorities before we confirm the name. So apply for the MISA registration. MISA may come up with some queries, or usually it's now automatically approved. Then once it's approved, you get the MISA certificate. So MISA certificate is the primary document that you are approved as a foreign investor in Saudi Arabia. So with this MISA certificate being issued, we go ahead again with the company incorporation, or which is something which is very similar to what we know in India. So there is a Ministry of Commerce, like we have ROC, or in India, we have a Ministry of Commerce in Saudi, under which we apply to form an LLC, like similar to our private limited companies in India. So we call it LLC, Limited Liability Companies. And we draft the article of association. We don't have an article and a memorandum in Saudi. We just have an article of association, which have all the rules and regulations and bylaws. And once we draft the article of association, we get it approved by the Ministry of Commerce, mostly done through digital mechanism. Nowadays, there is no physical memorandum or article association or article of association in Saudi Arabia. So once it's approved by the partners or the investors, we get something called as CR. We call it commercial registration in Saudi, which is equivalent to incorporation certificate in India. So we get the CR. Once the CR is published by the ministry, it means that your company is incorporated in Saudi Arabia. So we have the foreign company as the owner. Then as investors, as individual, we come as a board. We don't come as an investor as an investor visa, or we don't come as an investor. We come as the board of directors individually, but on the ownership will be our foreign company from India. So once the CR is issued, then we go ahead to the last step, where right now in Saudi Arabia, most of the governance is digital. Like the 85 to 90% of government services are completely online. You don't have to visit any government offices right now to get something done. Plus, they have something called Saudi Business Centers, which I'll also be explaining at the end. So keeping this in mind, when everything is digital, you have to open up 10 to 15 portals, government portals. Your account have to be opened up under your company. Like we have to open up Chamber of Commerce, because through Chamber of Commerce, everything is approved by the government or verified by the government. Then you have the open the Ministry of Labor. You have to open up with the banks. You have the tax portals to be opened, etc., etc. So all these portals have to be opened once your company is incorporated. And there are two things to be kept in mind with respect to human resources in Saudi. One, obviously, many might have the doubt about Saudization or the localization, which is locally known as nitaqat. So that's a reality in Saudi, because Saudi is one of the Arab countries or GCC states where the local population is larger than the expat population. When you take about UAE or Bahrain or Qatar, we have 60 to 70% of expats and 25 to 30% of locals. But in Saudi, it's just opposite. So obviously, the job insurance of the locals or the nationals is a prime agenda of the government. So there is a Saudization protocol in which you have to appoint one Saudi initially to get all the visas, or 3 to 4 visas, based on a rate called nitaqat rate or Saudization rate. So every industry will be having a Saudization rate, which varies from activity to activity. So let's say if you have a Saudization of 25%, which means 1 among 4 of your employees should be a Saudi. So likewise, you have to appoint Saudi. That's one thing you have to keep in mind with respect to human resource. Second is that there is a nationality mix to be followed, because it's a multiple nationality country where people from everywhere come for the job and all. So in order to give weightage and balance in the economy, there is nationality mix, in which you have a certain limitation for Indian nationalities. Then there is a certain limitation for Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or Nepal or whatever. So that percentage have to be kept in among our expat workforce. So these two are the things you have to keep in mind specifically when you plan your human resources. So the licenses, the Ministry of Investment license or the registration certificate, it has to be renewed every year. So in the beginning, it's 12,000 Saudi Riyal for 1 year. Then second year onwards, for every business, right now, it's 62,000 Saudi Riyal. For whether it's a small company or a large, huge company, it's 62,000 Saudi Riyal. But comparing globally, you may feel the amount is very huge, but the upside is that you just need one certificate or one license under which you can do multiple activities. So how big your business gets doesn't affect the license cost. It remains the same. So it's kind of a fixed cost. So if you plan it as a fixed cost, you have the leverage there to expand your business, increase your branches, or even diversify your business under one single license. You can do multiple businesses. And again, when coming to Ministry of Investments, it's the Ministry of Investments is the first ministry which brought up a unique way of serving the citizens and expats. They are very friendly. They are very approachable. and they have helped us in every office where you can go in and ask as an investor or as an expat any doubt with respect to getting a MISA license or starting a company. They are happy to help, and they are also mostly working in most of the holidays, even including Eid holidays. They work until a fixed time. So it's a kind of very customer-centric ministry, and that have been followed up by other ministries as well. So moving ahead, when talking about taxes, which obviously is one of the main concern about with respect to businesses, you have these taxes in Saudi, like very similar to India. You have corporate tax, which is a 20%, which is the income tax on companies. So 20% of net profits is a corporate tax. And you have a well-established taxation system in Saudi because of the zakah system being followed like a tax for years. So it's very mature. So they have the very well-defined clarity on how to calculate your net profits, what are the allowed expenses, what are disallowed expenses, etc. Then you have some VAT is there, which we had also there, like GST. It's 15% right now. Then you have custom duty. Then something which we don't have in India is withholding tax, which is on a payment basis. Whenever you pay something from being a resident Saudi company to a non-resident Saudi person or a company, you are charged 5% to 20% of withholding tax. So this may be something which you have to keep in mind when you transfer money from your company in Saudi to company in India. Then you have excise tax mostly on sugar goods, which is from 50%. Sugar and tobacco have the excise taxes in Saudi mostly, which ranges from 50 to 100% and even 200% in certain goods, which is mostly to discourage the consumption of sugary or tobacco products. Then we have zakat, which is only for Saudis or Saudi partners, and we have capital gain taxes, which is basically for when you sell off your shares after a certain period and you incur a capital gain on the valuation, you have a capital gain taxes as well. So please keep in mind these taxes, which have to be navigated when you plan your business in Saudi. Then going ahead, you have some economic zones very recently started in Saudi, which is very, very similar to the free zones in UAE. These economic zones are formed to give hyper focus to certain industries, which you can see the King Abdullah Economic City in Jeddah, which is focused on these sectors like automobile, ICT, consumer goods, pharmaceuticals. And you can start a company inside the SEZ with many benefits, where there are certain benefits which are not available in the mainland. It's available in the economic zone. And these are mostly focusing on making in Saudi and exporting from Saudi to the outside world. So they focus mostly on that. So there are a lot of tax benefits when you do that. But at the same time, when you are setting up your company inside the economic zone and supplying to the other parts of Saudi, like the free zone, maybe, I don't know how many are familiar with the free zone in UAE, but like the free zones in UAE, there is an exit tax or a custom duty to be paid when you're taking it out of that economic zone to the mainland. So you have Ras Al Khair economic zone and a Jazan special economic zone, and even a purely technology-based economic zone in Riyadh, which is for basically for cloud computing, and giants like Amazon and all are incubated in that. Moving ahead, this is something which keeps on coming as an attention-seeking thing in Saudi. Saudi Arabia launched a regional headquarters licensing program, which is under Ministry of Investments. So this is basically for multinational companies who have presence all over the GCC and MENA region and or other places of the globe, and they want to focus in this region, and they are invited to keep their headquarters, regional headquarters inside Saudi Arabia, for which they are given a lot of benefits. Benefits in the sense, you have relaxation in Saudization for the staff inside the regional headquarters. So basically, it's like an HO kind of thing. You can keep the HO and those activities and those people inside Saudi Arabia, and you can charge those HO expenses to other branches and keep the money inside the regional headquarters, and again get corporate tax benefits as well. And on the top of it, if somebody is planning to expand to Saudi and focus on government projects, regional headquarters is a mandatory kind of thing if you're going to take a project of more than 10 lakh Saudi riyals in Saudi. So We can see when you examine large giants from L&T to many people, you can see a lot of government suppliers have come from India, especially someone I would proudly say the name of L&T again, because L&T, and also you can see our guest Vedanta here and our guest Amitava, who's also having a established business in Saudi. So there are a lot of suppliers coming from India, and they have gone into government supplies or contracts as well. So RHQ is something of a mandatory licensing which is needed to secure government contracting in Saudi Arabia. And going to the last, we have again Saudi business centers being opened, which is again making the economy very investor friendly. So Saudi business centers are started by the government under the ministries, so that it acts like a customer care, one-stop customer care for investors, so exclusively for investors. So you don't need to go to multiple ministries if you have an issue which is not being solved or you are stuck somewhere. You don't need to visit, for example, you have some kind of a labor issue, or you have some kind of, let's say, some kind of an issue with respect to your license or activity. So you don't need to visit multiple, ministries, but you just have to go to a Saudi business center, which, as I said, is a one-stop service center for investors. You can see that all the desks of various ministries and departments are under one roof. So you can discuss your issues there, and your issues will be mostly solved in a day or two and taken up at the same time. So that is Saudi Business Center for you. Then again, there is something which is very, very getting a good attention in the news, which is the premium residency program by Saudi Arabia, which maybe if many of you are familiar about the golden visa program in UAE, this is something similar to that. So you have a premium residency program in which expats are allowed to get a premium residency visa, which have additional benefits, like you have a longer permanent residency from 5 years to 10 years. You can add your families into that. And there is something called a levy charges, which is being paid by expats to stay in Saudi to the government. You are exempted from that. And very recently, there are a lot of new variants, which is brought in by the premium residency, where you can, if you are having a salaried person, you are a highly salaried person, you can apply under the executive program. If you are a business investor and you are planning to invest more than 7 million or 70 lakh Saudi riyals in Saudi, you can apply for a business investor premium residency. If you're planning to buy a 40 lakh Saudi riyal worth of real estate, you can again apply in that category. Or if you are a VC funded startup, you can apply for an entrepreneur category. Or if you're a specially skilled, talented person who are contributing a lot into Saudi economy, you can again get in that category. So premium residency gives you a specific as a identity as an individual and as an investor. So if you are a premium residency holder, one thing is that is different for you is that you don't need to have a foreign company to start a business in Saudi. You can come in directly, apply for the premium residency, you get the premium residency, you can start your business in your individual name. So other than premium residency holders, expats can start business only if you have a foreign company in your name. So that's premium residency for you. So with this, in this short time, I will wrap up my presentation. I hope I have touched those important areas. And please have your doubts, something ready. If you have, you can put it in your Q&A. You can see the Q&A box in your chat, near to the chat box. You can see the Q&A in the webinar itself. You can put your queries there. I'll be happy to answer them at the end of all sessions. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. We know many of them have some questions regarding the session. So we have a session, Q&A session, as you said, after this sessions. So let's move to our second session on investment opportunities in UAE. So I invite CA Ajmal MK to take the session.
Thank you, Sajitra, for a warm welcome. It's nice to be in here, and I see many participants to join here. I think it's a hot topic that we are investing into especially the GCC countries. So GCC is a hot topic as the other regions are all looking to GCC as a financial hub. They want to invest their money and keep their money in GCC so that it is safer than when compared to other regions. So I will start with my topic, which is invest in UAE as a strategic gateway for Indian investors. So myself, C. Ajmal, as currently working as assistant manager of Tass Hamjit and currently dealing the operations of UAE. So why UAE? So everybody knows Dubai is a hub for logistics, hub for real estate. It's now the hub for the technology also. So we can say that whatever the business it is emerged in anywhere in the world will ultimately will come to UAE as a natural growth. So people will always look for UAE as a hub for for all the startups and for all the MNCs. They want to have a place in UAE so that they can build more. They can know what is their capability of expanding more. So we are discussing why we want to invest in UAE. So the strategic locations that providing by the UAE is the middle of Asia, Europe, and Africa. So especially the logistic route, it's very easy when compared to other regions. And there is no taxation until 2018. Then they introduced VAT, which is 5%. Then they introduced corporate tax recently in 2024 onwards. That was again, it is a 9% taxation, which is the lowest tax rate in the across the globe. So why they want to introduce these taxations too, so that they can match with the guidelines and requirements of the international standards, so that people will come to UAE as a more investments and still they can take the benefit of taxations. So especially in the UAE region, when compared to like Mr. Hassan discussed about the Saudi, it is a little bit more easier than Saudi to invest in UAE. So we can say that in jurisdiction level, we can make it two sectors. One is mainland and another one is Freezone. So in mainland, we can freely trade anywhere in the UAE, even without having any restrictions, whether if it is a trading company, whether it's a service entity, whether it's a manufacturing entity, we can do the business freely across UAE, and they can also do export and import business. But why do we need a free zone? Is specifically they want to promote international business, especially import and export. And they want to have holding companies come to UAE and they want to feel the tax benefits, and they can invest in UAE through these free zones. So there are many benefits attached to free zone, and they initially started providing free zone 100% foreign ownership. Now they are there. Now they are extending the 100% ownership to mainland also. So especially the free zone will be an ideal global trade and holding structures, which we can say that. And in free zone, we'll be getting maximum 0% tax benefit. And some cases we require to pay 9% taxation, but still the 9% is very less compared to other regions. So moving on further, why do we need to invest in UAE? So there are very attracting factors recently have came across, especially in the terms of the visa changes. So they introduced the golden visa category, which is a 10-year renewable residency for investors, professionals like us, and the entrepreneurs. So especially when you have a professional, for example, if you are a chartered accountant or a doctor, and if you are getting enough salary as per the conditions, they are satisfied, and you get a 10 years lifelong visa. That means you can get much more benefits rather than you're employing in a company and you are getting a visa under a company. It will be completely reliable on a company, which is mostly taking up with we want to continue with the company's documentations and things. But when we have a golden visa, which will valid for 10 years, and this 10 years period, it is like a liberation for when you compare to other things. So we'll be having a 10 years valid visa so that you can sponsor your family also. So you can settle up in UAE without having any further additional payments and all. And especially getting the golden visa, we want to have at least 2 million plus investment in property if you are going through investment route. And if you want to go through a salary route, it'd be like a 30,000 monthly. Okay, so now we are talking about the golden visa, which is eligibility criteria is based on the investment or based on the salary. So either way, we can get the golden visa. It will valid for 10 years. And the benefits of sponsor family, and you can own your business your own and secure long-term residency. It's all coming under the golden visa. So and other sectors, when we talking about the UAE sectors, which is attracting for the investors, is first one is the real estate. And as you know, the real estate market is booming like a rocket now. So, and you are easily getting the ROI, which is nowhere you can match with any like this ROI when compared to the other regions. So in together with the real estate growth, there is other sectors also is developing kind of like logistics, e-commerce, tourism, fintech, healthcare. Everything is growing together. So people are coming to UAE and the populations are increasing day by day. And we are getting a huge consumer market. And since it's a hub for logistic, it is easy to make the goods transfer through UAE so that the business is getting increased every day. And in addition to this, UAE has recently introduced their legal structures open for the crypto and Web3 friendly market. So all the Web3 technologies can be accepted in UAE, and they can be like, they can start their startups, Web3 startups in UAE, and they're 100% legally valid. And they will get more tax benefits when you compare to other regions. And there are two regulatory bodies. The first one is Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority by Dubai, and there is a ADGM Freezone, which is handling these crypto and Web3 technologies. Ideally, ultimately, it is an ideal location for the exchanges of Web3 technologies and trading firms and the Web3 startups, we can say that. Moving further to the real estate opportunity and the free zones. So you can say that, like I mentioned, Dubai and Abu Dhabi seeing around 6 to 8% rental yield on capital appreciations. Since there is no property tax, there is no much other capital gain taxation. It is, and especially if you are holding in individual name, this real estate business itself is not coming under the corporate tax purview. So the whatever the capital gain you are realized from this transfer of a real estate property, it will be completely tax free. So and similarly, you will get a 10 years golden visa along with investment in real estate. So the market is open for all the investors, whether if you are inside resident UAE or non-resident, it doesn't matter, but they are open for the real estate. So currently, the major investors are coming for the real estate part, but through this, other sectors also getting like increased attractions. And like you know that healthcare is a key industry for UAE when we're talking about the healthcare industry. So in the healthcare industry, there is an insurance-driven market, and especially the UAE residents, it's now rely on the like whenever they go and consult a doctor, they don't worry about the cost of the medicines and all. So that it is an insurance-driven market, and the business of healthcare is growing by day, and we have many clients that they used to have like the growth percentage of 40 or 100%. It is in the very short term period. So that is why similarly we have logistic sectors very booming, and the trading sectors FMCGs like anywhere in the GCC. It is since it's an hub for the logistic, it is booming day by day. When we're talking about the free zone and its benefits, like I mentioned, 100% ownership is available in free zone. There we can say you can have ownership either through your international holding, or you can have a direct individual ownership in free zone. Then this free zone will get benefit of 0 or 9% taxation, which is Basically, it depends on the condition that you are going to satisfy. The first one is the qualifying free zone benefit person. So in the qualifying free zone person, you have to get certain condition to be satisfied. You have to follow the activities which is approved by the free zone entities, and then you will get 0% tax benefits. So in Tass Hamjit career, we used to plan taxation, especially using through these free zones. Then you can have repatriation easily, so that if your company having an holding company in UAE free zone, and it is having international subsidiaries or branches, they can have easily transfer the funds to UAE, and they can have like if the funds can be moved in and out easily, and the bank facilities and everything is matching the following the guidelines of the central bank, and they are ultimately promoting the investors to bring the money to UAE, and they can also bring out the money for the investing in the international level. Then we can say the popular free zones right now, it's a DIFC and ADGM, which is specifically for the financial market. There we usually suggest for the holding setup. And there are other free zones like Maidan, IJA, DMCs, the Rackers. There are almost 20 plus free zones are available in UAE, and it is easy to operate. And when we're talking about the company setting up period and timeline, and the procedures, it is very easy. If you are directly opening your individual name, you can come to UAE with your passport and you can start your company within a day, especially in mainland. And if you want to open in a free zone, you don't need to come to UAE also. You can just start your company virtual, and it will take hardly 3 to 4 days maximum to get your company done. So this is all about the free zone. Now we are moving on to the tax benefits and the holding company structures. Like you know that UAE has around 140 plus double taxation avoidance agreement countries, including India. And especially with Saudi, we used to plan many taxations planning, including the avoidance agreement by utilizing the withholding tax exemptions and all. So holding company structures, when we're talking about the free zone side, we are setting up a free zone holding company, example in ADGM or in any Maidan free zone, for example. And if you want to start an holding company, it will take hardly 3 to 4 days. Then when you start a company, you can move like you can make your ownership of Saudi, India, or anywhere in the global world under this UAE company, and you can do hold the shareholding under the UAE SPV, and whatever the transfer happens, for if any capital gain happens, or if you have any dividend transfer, if you have any holding company head office operations transfers, you can easily repatriate your UAE free zone, and it is completely tax free. So when we moving on to the taxation in UAE, we can say that it is there are primarily two taxations are there. First one is VAT. It is 5% in UAE, and second one is corporate tax. It is 0 to 9%. We can say that, and for VAT we can have a certain criteria for $100,000 for the registration limit. But for corporate tax, there is no registration limit. Every company having a company or license in UAE should take a registration of corporate tax. But for the taxation purpose, if you are crossing $100,000, then only you need to like pay taxation in UAE. The above crossing whatever the amount you have crossed above the $100,000, you need to make the tax payment to the government. So this is all idea about how we want to like invest in Saudi, invest in UAE, and so let me just finish this sector. I believe the slides is not moving. There's some technical issues happened now. Sorry. So this is all about how you want to invest in Saudi and UAE. So you want to have any questions? We'll be having in the question and answer session separately. Thank you.
Thank you, CA Ajmal, for your informative session. So we now move to our next session, Indian Taxation and Cross-Border Fund Transfer. I am pleased to invite CA Simant Srivastav to deliver the session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. I believe a lot of us are looking at investment opportunities outside India. And of late, if your money has been hinting at taking a holiday abroad, don't worry. It's just exploring overseas direct investment and liberalized remittance scheme. So today we will walk you through how to give your money a passport without giving a heart attack to the regulator and the taxman. So the agenda today is we'll first talk about the framework which governs the overseas direct investments, which is typically the FEMA Foreign Exchange Management Act and the tax laws. Then we'll cover one by one the FEMA framework and the taxation laws, and then we'll go to the conclusion. So overseas investments by Indian residents, be it individuals or companies or any other legal entities, are governed by the Foreign Exchange Management Act of 1999 and the rules and regulations made thereunder. And this is administered by the Reserve Bank of India. Also, Indian residents are taxed on their worldwide income under the Income Tax Act, but there is something called as DTAA, which is the Double Tax Avoidance Agreement. And fortunately, India and Saudi Arabia and UAE both have a double tax avoidance agreement, which kind of saves us from double taxation or excess taxation. We'll deal with it a little later. But let's first look at the overall ecosystem. What are the trends? So as you can see in the graph here, in the past few years, there's a huge interest by Indian businesses and individuals to invest in overseas markets, jurisdictions. And although there was a brief lull in 2023, but we can see there has been a 48% jump between 23 and 24, wherein the investments have risen to almost 32.5 billion US dollars. Now, if we talk about the top destinations, so Singapore, Netherlands, and UAE, which is one of our target geographies today, are the top three jurisdictions. Saudi Arabia, which has just recently opened up, may feature because again it's showing to be a lucrative destination, and Indians may look to invest in Saudi also in the coming times. Now, when we talk about what drives Indians to invest overseas, so see, one of the problems we face here in India is every year the tax laws change, and there's very, I would say, lack of stability as far as tax laws is concerned. The government is working towards a new tax code. How it will happen, we'll come to know. But the major reasons why Indian businesses or Indian individuals look to invest abroad are number one, geopolitical stability beyond India. Of course, India has a lot of political and geographical stability. But if you want to diversify the risk, that is number one. Number two, stable and predictable tax regimes. And number three, a better return on investments. So that ways, a diversification of risk happens and investments can yield better returns. Now, if we look at the framework which is applicable, so for all kinds of overseas remittances, as I mentioned earlier, there is Foreign Exchange Management Act and Income Tax Act. And under FEMA, there are broadly three regulations or frameworks which kind of come into act when we look to invest in overseas jurisdictions. First is the overseas direct investments. This is specifically if you are looking to acquire over 10% equity or shareholding in entities overseas. Then there is overseas portfolio investment, wherein like if you are an individual investor or if you are a business, you want to invest in listed or unlisted businesses, but the stake is less than 10%. And there's something called as liberalized remittance scheme, which is applicable to individuals. Also under income tax, there are broadly two framework. One is at the time of remittance, there is a tax collection at source which happens. And we will also cover how the taxation on income happens for your overseas income. So as far as overseas direct investment is concerned, we have the FEMA 99 and ODI rules 2022, which have been consolidated under the RBI master directions of 2024. And as we can see in this slide, Indian companies or Indian business entities, which includes LLPs, partnerships, anything which is registered is a business entity, and they can invest via this OTI route. And if they are taking a little over 10% equity or stake in a listed or unlisted foreign entity, then the ODI route is taken. Otherwise, the overseas portfolio investment or OPI. Resident individuals are also allowed to invest in foreign entities, provided it is an operating company. So it should not be a shell company holding just assets. And resident individual investments are also subject to the liberalized remittance scheme. Now, when we talk about limits and allowed transactions, so for Indian businesses, if it's a ODI route, you can invest up to 400% of your entity's net worth as per the last audited balance sheet. The overall cap for any business is US $1 billion, which is roughly 8,500 crores at today's exchange rate, you can say. But that is subject to your balance sheet having that much wherewithal. Also, if you are taking overseas portfolio investment route, then you can invest up to 50% of your net worth as per last audited balance sheet. And last thing which needs to be kept in mind is the business should be legitimate. So any unlawful activities or real estate or gambling are not allowed. As far as the liberalized remittance scheme is concerned, there is an overall annual limit of 2.5 lakh USD, which is roughly around 2.1 crores per financial year from April to March, which it is, per permission bill transaction. And this limit covers a lot range of purposes. It could be investments in stocks, bonds, properties, when you want to travel for your education, medical, anything what you want to do, you can spend. And these are permissible limits, so no prior approvals needed. Anything over and above that, be it a ODI, OPI, or LRS, then you need to go to RBI before you kind of go beyond these limits. So LRS can be used to invest not only in equity or debt, but also invest in properties. And also people who are from the same family, each of them enjoy this 2.5 lakh dollars limit. So you could pool with your relatives and invest in overseas markets. RBI also prohibits certain use of ILRS funds like remittances in margin trading, foreign exchange trading, or lottery. Again, something which is in the nature of gambling or speculative kind of nature that is not allowed by RBI. Now, if we talk about taxation laws, so 2 years ago, government introduced a tax collection at source, and this is nothing to do with your income tax, but this is more around information which the government is gathering, and whatever tax collection at source happens for your income, you get the credit in your final tax limit. So what happens is when you are remitting money under the LRS, anything above 10 lakhs is subject to a 20% TCS or tax collection of at source, which is collected by the bank. Also, there is a sub limit. So for education and medical purposes, the limit is at 5% with the threshold being at 10 lakh rupees. Also, in case if you take an education loan and remit that money, then there is no TCS. Now, talking about income tax, Indian residents, as I mentioned earlier, need to pay tax on their worldwide income. So this means that any income generated from whatever jurisdiction will be subject to the Indian income tax law. But the good news, as I mentioned earlier also, is that we have DTA with both UAE and Saudi Arabia, also with many other countries. So in case any of your income gets taxed in either UAE or Saudi Arabia, then you can get a tax deduction certificate and claim exemption in Indian jurisdiction. In terms of compliance, disclosure, and reporting, so whenever you make an investment, there is something called as Form OC and ODI, which needs to be reported to RBI to generate a unique identification number, UIN. And this is something which needs to be referred for all future reporting to the RBI because there is an annual reporting requirement also. Also, the Income Tax Act requires resident and ordinary resident individuals to declare their foreign assets annually in the income tax return. This is as part of the foreign assets on your ITR form. Next is whenever you sell your property or liquidate or sell your investments, which is held overseas, you are required to bring that money proceeds within 90 days unless you are making a further investments which you can declare. Next is that if whenever you make an ODI investment, you have to file something called as APR or annual performance report by the 31st of December every year, documenting the financials and the status of your foreign entity. And one more thing, when remitting your funds abroad under LRS or ODI or any other scheme, Indian banks require a form which is 15CA and also a 15CB which is certified by a chartered accountant to determine the TDS TCS status. So to finally conclude, whenever you're deciding to make an investment, you need to make a checklist about which jurisdiction you are making an investment, and also check the relevant RBI FEMA guidelines to ensure that investment is permitted. It is better to consult experts, whether it's your chartered accountant or tax experts or FEMA experts, before making an investment. Also adhere to limits, because any violations is viewed very, very seriously, and treat compliance as an ongoing obligation, not like a one-time task. So thank you for your patient listening. Over to you, Sajitra.
So we now open the floor for a short Q&A session. After this Q&A session, as informed, our distinguished guests, Mr. Rajshekhar and Amitava Mitra, will join us for felicitation. So if you have any queries, please type to the chat box and we will address all the queries.
Saitra, you may start with your online queries first.
Sure, sir. So first one, do we require different licenses to perform different activities in Saudi Arabia?
I think question is to me, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think I covered in my topic, but I also see that some people have missed the Saudi part. So I'll again repeat that. In Saudi, this is one of the biggest changes which came very recently, which allows an investor from anywhere in the world to come and start any activity, whether it's be manufacturing or whether you are into trading or whether you are into services or into real estate. You just need to have one registration, or which before it was called license, but now it's called registration. We need to have one registration, and that registration is enough to practice all these activities. So it clears actually when you talk to someone who are having multiple businesses in Saudi. They were doing the same multiple businesses under different licenses and incurring multiple license cost as well. Now that has also been reduced, and those who were having multiple licenses were allowed to merge those licenses into one single registration as well. So right now, to practice different activities, we don't need to have different licenses or registrations. One is enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Another question regarding UAE to Ajmal. With the Dubai emerging as a global hub for crypto and digital assets, what are the legal and tax benefits for Indian crypto traders or Web3 startup setting up in UAE?
So yeah, it's a good question. So when we're talking about the crypto investment in UAE, so especially recently UAE have made it all legal, and through this VAR, that is Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority in Dubai, and ADGM Authority, they both are providing the legal standout when compared to other regions. And the tax advantage you are getting is the first one is the capital gain advantage. So whatever the capital gain you generated through crypto is completely tax free. And even if you are having a trading or other business related to the industry in UAE, you'll be like maximum paying 9% above $100,000. So you'll be getting a tax saver region when compared to others. And you can legally setting up a Web3 startups here. That is a hot advantage. And when you're talking about the banking access, or majority of the UAE banks are accepting the transaction through the cryptocurrencies. So they are also welcoming well. So it's a right time for the crypto traders or the investors or startups want to something do differently from other industries. It's the right time to come to UAE.
Okay, thank you. One more question. How can a UAE holding company help Indian business owners reduce their global tax burden while remaining compliant with both Indian and UAE laws?
Yeah, that's another good question. So, when we're talking about the global tax, so for example, if an Indian entity or Indian entrepreneur having business in India, and if he having business in Saudi or Malaysia, Singapore, and we want to have a centralized structure, not only for the tax benefit. If you want to have a centralized structure, we always suggest to our clients through UAE holding. So the benefit you are getting is through the UAE free zones, especially the holding company activity free zones like ADGM, DIFC, and small free zones like MEDA and IBSA. They're all providing the easiness of transactions and transfer between in and out of cross-border transactions. In addition to that, we'll be getting a complete taxation benefit when we are doing a repatriation of profit here, either through dividend or as you can charge head office transactions, for example, administration charges, manager remuneration. So the management consulting, those everything can be like incur in UAE and you can charge back to your foreign entity, and there it will be like a complete expenditures which is legally allowed there, and we need to only focus on the transfer pricing rules and regulations. Once that is satisfied, we'll be getting a benefit of that part of amount in UAE. In addition to that, there is no withholding taxations in UAE currently. So we'll be getting more benefit of whatever the transaction in and out will be doing through UAE. So especially from Indian entrepreneurs, if they are holding in UAE, after satisfying the RBI and the FEMA guidelines, they can have the transaction with UAE holding company, and the capital gain that generating in UAE will be completely tax free.
Well clear. Thank you, I say Ajmal. One other question is, what are the requirements? It's for Seeman sir, I think so. What are the requirements to transfer capital amount to Saudi from India?
Yeah, so thank you, Sajitra. We covered this briefly in my presentation also. See, as far as the limits are concerned, for individuals, it's 2.5 lakh dollars per annum. And as far as businesses are concerned, there are two sublimits. If you are taking a ODI route wherein you are kind of investing in any other entity, joint venture, or subsidiary, then if your holding is more than 10%, then you can invest up to 400% of your net worth, depending on the size of your balance sheet. And the overall cap is US dollars 1 billion. If it is a overseas portfolio route, then the limit is 50% of your net worth, again subject to the limit. Thank you.
Okay, sir, thank you. If you have any other questions, please share in the chat box.
And Saitra, I have some queries which I have already answered in the chat itself, but there is something which I feel can be shared for everyone. So there is a question regarding, is a proprietorship from India allowed to start in Saudi? So I'll answer that. So as I answered to that person, to Mr. Amit Dave, thank you for that question. So the thing is that the sole proprietorship in India doesn't have a separate legal existence or entity. So it is not recognized currently by Saudi government to act as a holding or a parent company. So it should be either an LLP or a private company or a public or listed company or a limited liability type of structure, so that it can be used as a holding company in Saudi Arabia. That is one thing. And second, there was a question from CA Sarangan Modi that regarding credit of withholding tax of KSA in available in other countries. I gave a specific answer with respect to India. So as Mr. Seaman said, there is a DTA between Saudi and India, and it covers withholding tax as well. So once where you incur withholding tax here with respect to any payment to India, there is a format or a prerequisite format in which you can claim back the withholding tax subject to certain limits and limitations. And for that, the Saudi government, we can get the proof of payment of taxation from the Zakat department, which is the tax department in Saudi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I think we can move to our felicitation session, right? So it's my pleasure to invite our guest, Mr. Raj Shekhar, Director, Projects and Operations at Vedanta, Saudi Arabia, to share a few words. Sir, please welcome.
Thank you, Sanjitra. I am from Vedanta, so just let me follow the flow. First, I'll introduce my Vedanta company. I am the project director at Vedanta Limited. It is majorly metal and mining company, and it is also having a base of oil manufacturing also at India. And we are operating presently in 9 different countries, including UAE. And recently in KSA, we came 2 years back. End of 2023, we are here. And we are entering into the metal and mining, majorly in copper to start with at KSA. And we may expand our wings further. And recently, we also got the mine exploration license in Jabal Sayed at KSA. And coming to, when we came down here 2 years back, it is a first footprint at KSA. We are almost blindfolded. Even though we have different operations in 9 different countries, every country have its own legal and statutory regulations. And it is unfortunate that this type of conference has not happened, or probably we are not able to attend. And but now I would say that there are a lot of illegal compliance, especially for the new entity which is entering into in Saudi, and regulations from Minister of Investments, and also the mother parent ministry. For us, it is Minister of Minerals and Industries, MIM. And also there are a lot of regulations to be followed from Commerce Ministry, Chamber of Commerce, and also Finance, HRD Ministry and all. And all these things were really, we came up with the help of the consultants. And of course, we are tied up with T&H. And we are able to pass through with easy go through all these requirements of legal and statutory and regulations at Saudi Arabia. And no doubt, it is definitely, I can say that more clarity is there at Saudi with respect to all the regulations are more covered online. But at the same time, it is very important to know where it is and when to apply, and to follow up the regular updates which is coming from the Saudi requirements. And for the new entry people, there are a lot of subsidies also being given based on the type of industry in Saudi Arabia. If somebody is coming up with R&D facility, they have a separate R&D subsidies. There is a training subsidies. And also there is a low interest, fee, low interest loans like SADF. There are a lot of facilities being available and which is being given and promoted by Saudi, because they want to go in line with the vision of 2030, and they want to promote the other industries apart from oil and gas. So they are looking at a lot of value coming out from other products also, like automobile, naturally mining, and and food processing industries, and other downstream industries also looking at. And majorly there are important is whenever is a suggestion which given by, of course, by TNH and a lot of other consultants also. Important point here is whenever new entry comes in, they majorly look in a few points by the Saudi government. What is the value addition that this industry brings in to Saudi local country, and what is the employment generation which are going to generate employment for locals, and what is the contribution to GDP at Saudi Arabia. These are 3 points which was asked by the Saudi government to us when we entered into when we made the first presentation to MISA, and in 2023. And we came a long way. we already established the first business at Russell Care, very close to Jubail. That is the first plant we're coming up. We already got all the approvals, legal and statutory approvals and compliances were on place with help of TNH. And we are starting our construction very soon. So this is what I want to share with our Indian businesses who have aspiration to start the business in KSA. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your sharing your experience. So now I invite Mr. Amitava Mitra, CEO of Swaraj SecuTech, to share a few words. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So it's been a journey of 2 years, and Swaraj SecuTech is an MSME in India, but the only Asian company into hostile vehicle mitigation, wherein we stop an intruding truck with our solutions and we save lives. I would like to give you a more hands-on feedback on the great services that we receive from Tass Hamjit. Sir, when we come to a new country, we are all over the place, and we look into Google and we see which is the companies who are going to give you the hand-holding services and who is going to be the best consultant. And we kind of, and we did that. Even though we have our own sister company in UAE, we did that mistake. We just blindly went with, and we submitted ourselves, and we got our hit. So it was then that we met Mr. Ashraf, and we restarted our journey with the help of Tass Hamjit. What we really felt great about is the dedication with which each and every team member works. All our friends who are here, right? So in India, we, generally what happens, sir, is you get an OTP, right? You get an OTP, that's your bank OTP, and you guard it close to your heart. In Saudi, it's so digitalized that every process will have an OTP coming to your Saudi mobile number. The question is, you need to trust someone, because that OTP will have to be given somewhere. And so you really need a partner to whom you can trust blindly, that will never ask you for your bank OTP, but they will definitely ask for Kiwa, Mukim, and it makes your life easier because you have a partner whom you can trust, and you are in a meeting and sharing an OTP, and you are completely clear with it that it will not be misused. So this is a big thing, friends, when it comes to starting a business in a foreign land. Secondly, there is another thing that I really liked about Tass Hamjit's Koba branch was the allied services. Like, we were completely new with the accounting, which was there. We have a great team back home, but we wanted services. Accounting services that was given to us at a very nominal price. So friends, yes, we can do our due diligence, but believe me, I come from a background of the Indian Army. We know people, we look right through the eyes. And when it comes to Tass Hamjit, I, Major Amitava Mitra, can vouch for the quality and dedication of their services. Thank you very much, Tass Hamjit. We look forward to this relationship.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Okay, as we
I think,
come to
just before concluding,
please, sir.
I feel I should have extensive thanks to both of the
Please.
guests, and also especially to Rajshekhar sir and Amitava sir, to really trusting us on this thing, and we didn't feel you had all this in your heart. Thank you for that. Special thanks for that. Yes, sir, you can continue.
Thank you, sir. As we come to close of today's webinar, I would like to invite CMA Mohammed Ashraf to conclude the session. Please, sir.
Thank you, Sajitra. Indeed, we had an informative session with our panelists, and yes, I'm sure all the participants, especially those who are looking forward to exploring and considering to explore to the new markets for them, Saudi and UAE, I'm sure they would have a brief about these markets with this session. We had a humble beginning in 2010, and now we have a presence in UK, Singapore, Saudi, Bahrain, UAE, and Qatar. Through our association with Attentio Consultancy Services, we are now available in Mumbai. At Tass Hamjit, we aim to be the world's most trusted consulting partner empowering SME. We provide services in advisory, assurance, corporate affairs, and technology. We also have THAT, Tass Hamjit Advanced Technology, which is an AI-first consulting firm born from 15 plus years of our financial leadership in TH Group. Under THAT, we help business scale, automate, and lead using tailored AI solutions rooted in deep financial intelligence. Operating across 7 countries and serving clients in 15 plus offices, THAT combines strategic clarity with breakthrough by tech to fuel sustainable growth. A handful of applause and thanks to the distinguished guests, panelists, and participants who have accepted our invitations and joined today's webinar. Let me first thank Mr. Seeman Srivastav, Managing Partner at Attentio Corporate Services LLP, for his association and participation in the webinar, as well as sharing his experiences on the subject presented. I would also like to thank Mr. CMA Ahsan Abdullah, co-founder and partner at Tass Hamjit, for touching upon the areas of invest in Saudi, and also Mr. C.A. Ajmal, Assistant Manager at Tass Hamjit UAE, for a session on the UAE market. A special thanks to our distinguished speakers, Mr. Rachegar, Director Projects and Operations, Saudi Arabia Vedanta, and Mr. Amitabh Mitra, CEO, Swaraj Securtech, for sharing their experiences in their journey of setting up their business in Saudi Arabia. I, on behalf of Attentio and Tass Hamjit, wish them very best in their journeys ahead. Due to time constraints, our webinar, we have to keep it very brief and short. So I humbly request all the participants, if they have any sort of queries, to keep in touch. We'll be sharing a feedback form, and you can share your queries and you can contact us through that. I'm sure we will definitely come up with more sessions and definitely give you more information about certain topics. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this webinar. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
all.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So thank you once again and wish you continued success in your investment journey. Also, if you have any queries, we will share our QR code here. You just scan and keep in touch with us. We are here to support you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.